Hey, this is Rich with breathingwiththemarkets.com. I have one of my mentees here, Rejjie, and Rejjie went through the extended, actually, he's still in the current extended mentorship. And Rejjie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And how long you've been trading? And if you want, what education you had in the past?
Yeah. So I'm from Ireland, living in Ireland, but originally from Nigeria. I started trading last year. So I've been trading for a year and a couple months. It's going to be 2 years next year, April. And just like everybody else, I got into trading, started learning a lot through YouTube University, some will say. Then from there, I met some online mentors, and through that, was how I met Rich, who I discovered him on Discord. I noticed he was consistent with his posting. He was always sharing. And, it stood out to me. This was, I think, yeah, I reached out to you late last year, was it, Rich? Or was it this year? Late last year.
Yeah, late last year.
Yeah, so
Time flies.
I was barely even 1 year into the trade. But anyway, I just noticed Rich because of his consistency. Reached out to him last year. I kept a tab on him. It was only this year. Was it June, Rich, that we started the mentorship? June, a
Uh,
couple like 3 months ago or something?
Less than that. First mentee on the site because the site was getting completed and everything. So not long ago. I mean,
Yeah.
this is we've had this is going to be our sixth session, and we have a
Mhm.
total of seven sessions. So you're in
Yeah.
your sixth session already, which is
Mhm.
about basically 6 weeks. But there's been some lag time because you went off and got into
Yeah.
the market
So,
without notice, you know. So
yeah.
go ahead, Reg.
So I started the mentorship, I believe in July, not long ago anyway. But so when I started the mentorship, Rich was a great help. Obviously, you taught me a lot of stuff that I didn't know, kind of sped up my learning process. It's funny how we started the mentorship this year, even though I wanted Rich to teach me last year, but I'm glad I started it this year because the things I know now, if I started the mentorship last year, I probably wouldn't even be able to keep up because I still had that retail mentality, and I probably still do, but I'm working on it. And a lot of things I had to unlearn. But yeah, Rich, I could truly say, when I started the mentorship, you woke me up. I knew that there was no holy grail when coming into trading. I didn't come into the mentorship thinking as soon as I start the mentorship with Rich, I'm going to be instantly profitable. I just wanted Rich to just brush up what I already knew, or just change my mentality when it comes to the chart. So studying with Rich was like unveiling the veil, so something was covering my eyes, and he just lifted up and just made me think of the market a little bit differently. Yeah.
Now, when you say see the market a little bit differently, when I had after our first session, which I talked about 5 hours, I don't even think we took a break. Yeah, and I didn't tell you to read a book, and I didn't give you any material to study and stuff like that. But after you had sent me a message and said something to the fact that you're literally breathing with the market. I used to tell people that that's the way I feel, and it's very difficult to explain. But do you feel that now you have like a methodical, robotic approach to the market, whereas before you had FOMO, you weren't as certain about your trades? How are you following the market now? Do you understand which direction the market's heading based on
Mhm.
the mentorship? What is the comparison that each and every little detail and gems that I showed you in the market? How do you feel?
Yeah, when I started trading, there was a lot of FOMO, and that's because I didn't know what I was looking for. That's because obviously I would, trade these different systems I was seeing online. But obviously, when we started the mentorship, the strategy and the technique was so simple, which was just like it was so mechanical. You just if you mess up, it's because you ain't got patience. You didn't wait for the setup to present itself and execute. So what you taught me was look out for this. When you see this, you don't think twice, you take it. And that was just it. I did abuse it, when you taught me when you taught
We've
me
all
this,
abused it.
yeah, I did abuse it where I just want to take every single one I saw, and then sometimes my patience will come into play where I didn't have patience to wait for it. You see the market going up, and it's just hard to fold your hands and sit on them. You just want to go along with it. But the strategy was so mechanical that once you see it, you don't hesitate, you take it. It was that straightforward, at a point now where I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I'm just trying to tweak it and make it suit the my style of trading. Because when we started the mentorship, I had an exit. I don't know if you remember, I had this little exit problem where I'll just be holding it for too long, and you'd be like, Reg, you're done. Throw in the towel, you're done. And that's where I am now. That's where I'm at.
That was the Forex mentality. That's the Forex
Mhm.
mentality because of the pip value and things of that nature. And people are always trying to
Yeah.
get up, 50,
Just
100,
contract values. Mhm.
200 pips. But
Yeah.
so when you look at a chart, Reg, if you were to turn on a screen and if you looked at a chart, could you immediately know based on the information that I provided you, could you immediately know whether you should be in the market or not?
Yes, yes. Yeah, if I look at the chart now, I have times where I trade, and also I have times where I try not to trade. I like to trade a little bit after the open, just to let the price, settle. And there was another thing that you taught me as well, where you scrunch up the chart and you take all the data from the previous couple hours or previous day or whatever, scrunch it up and just see the overall direction, So just having that mentality, it's good because I don't now. Last year when I started, and when I was still before I did the mentorship, I would always have a bias. I was always like, nah, we're gonna go bullish today, or we're gonna go bearish today. But now it's just like I don't care about the daily bias. I don't care if we're gonna go to the moon. I don't care if we're gonna drop. I'm going with the market. So yeah, I
So,
hope.
so we didn't get into top-down analysis because I don't really believe in a top-down analysis. Would you agree, based on the information that I gave you, that top-down analysis is kind of, in my opinion, you may have a different opinion, but it's kind of useless.
When I started trading, that was like the my favorite thing to do. That was like the first thing I will always
Well,
do.
you saw it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I
It
saw it
said
on
top-down
YouTube.
analysis.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube and all of this stuff. And I was always, I practiced that for a long time. And that's what I said at the start of this interview. Like it takes a lot to kind of like forget some of the stuff you learned. And because of that, it kind of interferes with your trading, when you're on the live markets.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember a couple conversations. I'm just like, get that off the chart. Don't do that. I don't want to see a stop loss, that long or short tool. I don't want to see the red. Constructive criticism because of the mentality of traders that may want to use a stop loss, but yet they don't have a direction. So
Hmm.
would it be safe to say that I don't trade with stops? You understand my style. You've seen my style.
Oh, wow.
And how do you feel about the style? I trade, up to 20, 22 accounts separately each day based on the strategy and the edge that I answered you on. And I know you're now dabbling in the market and you went off and you started to hit a little prop firm action.
Hmm.
So how's that going?
Yeah, you're like I owe it to you, man, because I always said I was gonna tell you this, so I might as well tell you now, man. I owe it to you because I was stuck in the Forex mentality. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Forex. Like, I probably still will go back to Forex just because I like the swing trading aspect of it and just lot sizes and stuff like that. I like it. I like it. But I will say I'm appreciative of you introducing me to futures because I've always heard about futures, but I was like just so stuck on the Forex thing. With Forex, I realized I don't know if it's the style of trading I was doing. I realized I will hold trades longer. I'm trying to minimize risk. I'm trying to cut losses early. I'm trying to do all these things, but I find myself taking more trades and being stuck in the trades
That was
long
before.
before,
You're
when I
not
was showing forex. But
you're not
yeah,
doing that now.
yeah, I'm not doing it now because when we started the mentorship and you were mentoring me and stuff like that, you introduced me to futures, and that was a whole like game changer for me. I've never even opened a currency pair chart since like a couple months now since we started. So like I've been on futures and I don't think I'm going anywhere soon. And also I remember when we did, I don't know, I think we did one or two sessions and I told you that I uploaded like $200 into a futures account or something like that. And I don't know, I think that's when I disappeared for a while because I
Yeah.
blew that 200. I literally blew that 200. I was able to take that 200 to 400, I think 450, and I absolutely blew it. And I remember a voice in my head was like, because I asked you a question a couple months ago, and I was like, Rach, why don't you trade personal funds? And you're like, Reg, the commissions, they'll eat you up and stuff like that. And I didn't understand it. And when I uploaded 200 into my futures account, the commissions was absolutely tearing me up. And that's when it came to me. I was like, wait a second. Rich did say something about Apex and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, let me just check out Apex. And the time they were doing a discount code, I signed up. It was way cheaper than $200. I uploaded in the blue. They had like a little reset button in case you blew the account. They have a
That's
they had all
convenient.
these rules. But what I'm trying to get at here is it was cheaper. Okay. It was cheaper than me trying to fund a live account and trying to scale it up in the long run. But yeah, that right there has been a game changer for me because in futures, I'm in and out the market. I don't need to be there long at all. Take my couple points and I'm done for the day. And I told you this month, no, last October, last month I got my first payout. And that's my very first payout I've ever received from trading, and I've only been trading 1 year and a couple months. So I was really happy about that. And I was really, really happy that you did introduce me to futures because now I'm in the market and I'm not sitting in front of the computer all day.
Very good, very good. So you passed an evaluation, right? Obviously. So, were you tell us a little bit about your setup? Were you using the evaluation and at the payout stage?
Yeah, to be honest, I've passed a lot of evaluations before. I passed FTMO evaluations. I've passed my True Forex Fund. I passed those evaluations, and when I used to pass evaluations, I used to get excited. I used to share the certificate. I used to show it to people, like share it on the Discord. Now it's just like I pass them, and I don't even feel any type of way. I don't care, but I don't even open the certs. I don't. I don't care. I only care about the payout stage, and when I got my first payout, it was really like it was an experience for me because it just showed how much I've changed and how much some things are how some things are irrelevant and how some things are more relevant than others. So when I made it to well, actually, Rich, when I passed the evaluation, I got funded with Apex. Then I actually blew the account. Okay, I
Oh,
blew that account. I wasn't familiar with the rules and stuff like that, the whole training drawdown and stuff. So I
yeah,
did the evaluation again. As I said, I passed another evaluation. I wasn't excited or anything. I was like,
yeah,
okay, cool. I just need to make sure I don't do what I did in the first one. And I was steady grinding, take my profits, call it a day. And I did that for like more than 10 days and stuff like that. Got the payout. The strategy I was using, is the strategy we learned on the mentorship, and I just stuck with it. I realized sometimes when I do lose trade because it was done through an emotional aspect. Like everybody else that starts trading, and I don't know if I could remove emotions from it. That's something everybody faces, just a part of being human. And when I do lose, I realize that okay, look, I got emotional there. I lose on taking a setup, and I'm still taking the same setup rather than just walking away and let the chart present another setup. But I would try to force the setup again and again and again, until I get burnt. So it's all kind of like dealing with my emotions now and working on my psychology and the FOMO stuff. I feel like it's not as much because FOMO only comes when you don't know what you're looking for. And, as we discussed in the setup, we need to know what we're hunting before we can execute the trade. And before you execute the trade, risk comes first.
Exactly. Exactly. That's that's the everything that I always say and tell people is risk starts before the execution of a trade. People really don't understand what that means is basically if you don't know what you're looking for, that is the risk. A stop loss is a false sense of security. And if you have a false sense of security, then you're going to jump in the market because you've already told yourself how much money you're willing to lose. As I said this over and over, it's not about the money. We should not be giving money away. We should be patient, wait for the setup. And when I teach, and when I taught you in the mentorship, it was very specific. We have the herd going up. The herd is not, percent of the herd is basically not profitable. So
Mhm.
as the herd's going up, I show you how to wait and take a short and what to look for in the execution and confirmation, and then gems in the market. So what we see on the internet, the top-down analysis,
Mhm.
people are buying as prices going up and all that
Mhm.
stuff. I've explained to you in specific details what to look for, right? Without getting into the strategy itself, but I've explained specific details on what to look for. And I feel that we are doing the opposite of what everyone is studying on the internet.
Yeah.
How would you describe that?
And that's why they say, what, 90% of retail fail because we're all trading strategies and we're all trading the same way and we're all looking at the market the same way. Something's going up, we're all following it. Not like something's going up, I'm thinking the opposite. Something's going down, I'm thinking up. So yeah, it's crazy. Like, and it's crazy because I'm just glad because I could be on that retail mindset for years. And as I said, I'm only trading for a year and a couple months. I know I could still get better than what I am now. I know I still will improve because, as yourself, you have many years of experience under your belt. I'm not trying to stay on this retail mentality. I'm trying to, think outside the box and also surround myself with people like yourself who are like-minded people and they'll also think outside the box. They're not always thinking retail, retail, retail.
Very good. Very good. So, did you get a payout now? Did Apex
Oh
pay
yeah,
you?
yeah. Yeah, I was actually surprised how quick it was. I got
Nice.
paid, I think, 2 days after I sent you the approval stuff. It
Oh,
was a maximum of 3 days. I requested it on uh, the first, and I got it on the third. Yeah, I was surprisingly quick. Yeah, and I passed another eval. Was it 2 weeks ago? And
uh,
that's paid, and I should be getting a payout. Yeah, very soon from that one.
wow. Wow. So your mindset has changed in the past couple of months. I can see that you weren't confused. I said you know how you have the skill, right? You have the mind, you have the trader mindset and willingness to learn. But would you say it's safe to say is I told you, I said erase everything out of your mind. We cannot have anything in your mind because I try to explain, it's very difficult to explain to people that if you continue to practice something that doesn't work, it's going to continue to set you further and further back. And finally, you'll get to a point where you quit. And I remember you reaching out to me numerous times saying, when is the site going to be ready? Can I start tomorrow? Can I start next week? Please, when is this going to happen? You were just wanting to get to a point to further your education. And
Hmm.
looking back at that, because you had patience, right? You had to have
Yeah.
patience because I said, hey, Reg, the site, I'm not building it. Someone else is building the site,
Hmm.
breathingwiththemarkets.com. And you
Been
just
waiting
have,
since last year.
what's that?
Been waiting since last year.
Yes, you have. And
Yeah.
patience pays off, right?
Right.
So, but with that mindset, and I tell you, get it all out of your head and look at the market differently. Moving forward, if you practice what I have showed you over and over and over again, are you going to get better?
It only gets better. It only gets better.
And do you see yourself getting better each and every day or each week?
Yeah. I see myself getting 1% better every day. And I also learn a lot from myself every day as well. Um, Trading is a constant learning game. I'm always realizing how undisciplined I was. Probably still I'm not as disciplined as I wish I was. But
And,
yeah,
and why and think logically. Why do you think where do you think discipline comes from? I've told you this before, but discipline and FOMO. Why do people are not disciplined and they have FOMO, fear of missing out? What is the main reason?
yeah, you simply don't know what you're looking for. You're anxious.
Yes.
That's where FOMO comes from.
A lack of knowledge. I always say this. It comes from a lack of knowledge. Now that you have this knowledge, now you're going to grow because, Reg, I can only show you, I can only teach you, I can only give you some advice. But if each and every individual is a person that's going to have to take that knowledge, take those tools and apply them. What you have done is that you have taken that advice and now your performance has led to you getting payouts with Apex. I mean,
Right.
that in itself is amazing. There are so many people because trading a live account is easier than trading a prop firm. The only problem is brokerages and different brokers throughout the world. They're in the business to make money. So we as a scalper, a trader, or swing trader, we are going to get hammered each and every time we're in and out of that market. Like I take, several hundred trades in a day. If you add that up, $6 a round trip, I get a deal at $4. I don't remember the exact, but I get the lowest deal based on my histories and stuff and relationship with them. But still, if you multiply $4 times 200, that's $800 in a day in fees.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was killing me when I did that.
So with that said too, is you are not able to learn. How are you going to learn your skill when you have to pay for that? It's like you're paying $800 a day to learn your
Yeah.
skill. And when these prop firms have these rules, it makes you even become a better trader over time too. Because once you get out of those rules and you want to get into a live account, you are going to have so much flexibility. It will be amazing. So what you have done, most people in their life will never do, but through dedication, education, and
Hard work.
practicing over and over. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. Hard work, dedication, consistency. Just keep going, keep chipping away at it. As you already know, Rich, I'm not giving up anytime soon. Even if the market conditions change or things like that.
Okay,
And
wait, stop. You just did a YouTube issue.
the YouTube, what's
Market,
that?
market conditions change. The information that you learned, does the market really change? People say I got to change the strategy because my strategy no longer works because the market's changing. Would that be a correct statement?
No. No, what I meant by that statement was, for example, say, was not last week or the week before we had the market conditions where I like trendy markets, okay? And sometimes in the week you could have markets where it's not as trendy, okay? Not that you can't trade them, but my personal preference is to trade markets that I know, okay, the bulls are in control or the bears are in control. That's the kind of market I personally like to trade. But I said not saying you cannot trade consolidation markets, but that's what I meant by even if the market conditions change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And you're not, just like I explained people, it's easy to invest in the stock market. You buy the dips and the stock market is designed to go up. I mean, it's a fact. The stock market is designed to go up. I wouldn't consider that trading. That's just investing, right? But the information, I know you like to swing trade. I know you like to do trade Forex. All of the, you may have your favorite pair. But I try to explain this, and I've explained it to you, is that the name doesn't matter. The information that I provided you, the name does not matter. How do
chart
you
is a
feel about
chart.
that?
Absolutely, I totally agree. A chart is a chart. It might change in volatility, but a chart
Yeah,
is a chart.
very good. Very good. Okay, if there's a couple things that some advice that you would give to traders out there, in your own opinion, traders throughout the world, what advice would you give them from your past education, current education, dedication?
I got one. So basically, I've been trading for a year, let's just say almost 2 years, and I might not have the best advice for traders because my experience isn't that long, but I could give an advice for traders who are just starting or just like myself. The advice I would give is do not take signals. Don't copy trade other people's trades. I mean you could keep a tab on them and see how the trades are going, but don't take signals. I did that for the first year. I was in a community on the Discord where the mentor will share their trades and we all take them and stuff like that. Yet they hit TP, some of them hit stop loss. But I almost did that for a year straight, and I could have easily did that for second year, third year. I'm not saying you can't make money by taking signals, but if you look at the long run, longevity, if you are actually trying to trade and learn this skill set, you're not going to get anywhere by taking signals.
There was many times where you wanted me to trade live with you.
Mhm.
So I did get an evaluation and stuff to show you how that works in the futures and stuff. But I'm sure you quite understand that um, when we do trade, it's a
Mhm.
serious business, obviously.
That was crazy when you were trading. That was some crazy trading, absolutely aggressive, hardcore. It was good to see that though, Rich. Thought that was really good. Cool experience that you shared that live session with me.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, Reg, and as always, I'm always here for you. And you have a couple more sessions coming up, and then after that, we have the chit chat session. So whenever whether it be on a weekend or not, I offer a chit chat session, which is a benefit too. And it's as long as I'm around or as long as I'm going to do this, it's not something that you pay for, but I'm there for you as a trader and or any of the mentees. And it's something to if you're having if you're having trouble with something, we can go ahead and talk about that or analyze trades. And one thing I'd like to ask you is analyzing a trade. I've made some videos that journaling sucks. And the reason I say that is because how is someone going to journal if you don't even understand what you're doing in the market? Because if someone cannot analyze, if I see someone's trade in the market, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you may be able to. I believe you can because of what we went through. But if someone posts a trade, I can immediately look at the market and go, not good or lucky. How do you feel about that based on the
Mhm.
information that we went over?
You mean journaling?
Journaling, but when you look at a market, you can open up a chart based on the information when you just started and you immediately know where you're at in the market based on the information that you're seeing on the chart. How do you feel when you open up the chart now?
Yeah, it's different now because um even like now, as I said, like it's totally different. It's not the way I trade now is completely different from how I used to trade, let's say 6 months ago. When I open up the chart and I see the mechanical system that you've put in place, I see the setup presenting itself, and I don't hesitate. But what I have done recently, Rich, this is another conversation for another time. What I have done as well is I've incorporated order flow into my trade. So when I'm seeing the setup playing out and it matches with the order flow, I'm licking my lips. It's one of those setups just like it's plus plus. And if them two things match, it's just I'm just licking my lips, Rich.
I showed you something in the market that confirms it's very powerful, right? Where price is going to head. And that's what we look for at most of the time before taking that entry. How is that working out for you?
Yeah. Yeah, without saying too much, yeah, it works. It works. It works great. It works great. You sometimes you won't always see it, and that's the problem. When you don't see it, you try to force it, right? You're not gonna get, you're not for me, Rich, I know you could trade any conditions, you could trade any time frame, you could trade what any time of the day. Okay, I need to understand that I am not you. I do not have the experience you have, right? You could see a setup, I might not see it. I need mine to be clear. I need mine to be visible. I need to see that clean. It needs to be clean. If it's not clean, then that's where I start hesitating, and that's where like FOMO starts creeping in, and that's when the emotion comes in. I'm like, okay, cool, it's not clean. Am I gonna take it or am I gonna sit out? And that's where I'm kind of like in and out now, where I'm trying to like not take bad setups and only take the good ones. But when the good ones do present, I do execute them without hesitation.
Nice, nice. And are you trading micros or minis?
Oh yeah, micros. Wait, micro.
I-
I'm not rich. I'm not you. The
But
minis will destroy me, man.
okay, so let me ask you this: Have you tried the minis? I call them the
Yes,
big.
I tried the minis. That's how I knew that like this is dope. This is the big boy league. Don't come over here because at the end of the day, risk comes before the trade, right? So if I'm trading a mini, even a one contract, and I'm already getting nervous and the armpit is getting sweaty, I already know I'm doing something wrong, you know?
Yeah. Well, I've been hitting. Well, I always trade the minis, right? I mean, I love the minis, but I'm pounding the market with the minis, and a lot of people don't understand not how powerful that market is with the minis. I can get two minis in there, and they allow me just two max, but in a fast moving market on the 1 minute chart,
Yeah,
it moves a hair, and you're messed up. And people
yeah,
really don't understand what the skill level is to
yeah.
take 20 or 22 accounts individually, trading the minis and coming
Mhm,
out green 99% of the time.
mhm.
And use the term lightly 99% of the time, but I very seldom have a red day.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I just I want to hear some more about how you feel about the minis and micros and your experience.
Trading now, I'll tell you this now. Trading Apex now is really how do I say, it's made me very conscious of my risk, and it's made me very conscious of like size and stuff like this, because they have the trailing drawdown, and you know
Mhm.
uh, even if you're on the right side of the market. Let me tell you this happened to me yesterday, Rich. All right, if you're on the right side of the market, and I believe I was trading NQ, and we were long. Okay, we were long. I was doing the
Mid-morning. You
eval.
were long probably mid-morning, right?
The time
I took
zone
it
is
short.
different here. So about like 3 p.m. for me here. Let's just
Oh,
say that'll be like what, 10 New
yeah,
York time, 10 a.m. maybe. Because
mid-morning.
I believe the
Or
open was bearish. The open was bearish, and then it did
yeah,
a V. But I was on the right side of the market. We were long, blah, blah, blah. And I was doing the eval. And I was so confident, I'm not trying to be you here, okay? But I didn't have a stop. Okay. I didn't have a stop, right? But my entry was so good, right? And it was going, it was going, it was going. And I was at 2,800. I needed
the
200
button.
euros. I was at 2,800 with one trade, right? And I just needed 200 euros, $200 to pass. And I didn't have a
Oh,
stop. I didn't have a stop. I didn't have a BE. I walked away, but I had an eye. I was just, I kept looking at the computer. I was like, okay, we're still going. Say my entry was here, my target was here to pass, and price was literally here. And it hit some sort of level and it did a pullback. Okay. This pullback didn't even come to my entry, and the account was gone. The mistake I made there was I didn't take the profit. And what I should
yes.
have did was take the profit, get back in again, to get the last 200 bucks and just pass it. But I held it. It's like, okay, listen, it's gonna do a pullback or hit the target, I pass. Literally 200 euros away, the trailing drawdown account gone. I was like, oh my days. It
Yeah, and
was,
even on
yeah.
the even
So
on the even on the minis, it could hit you like very
yeah,
fast.
yeah. So the Apex as well, you have to be a bit conscious. Yes, you could have your trading style and stuff like this, but you still have to respect the trailing drawdown, and when you see profit, take profit. Don't try to hold too long and stuff like that. So just adjust your trading style to match the prop firm that you're trading.
And when you say, hindsight, hindsight's always easy. It's easy for any trader on YouTube to go back and say, well, I would have taken a trade here and I would have went long here and short over here. I didn't teach you how to back test. I don't believe in back testing. I don't believe in
No,
back testing. And
no.
what time frame are you on now?
I'm using the I didn't tell you this, Rich. I don't know if I upgraded or I downgraded, but I'm using the 15 seconds now. I'm using the 15 seconds.
15 seconds. Good job. Good job. Now,
Yeah.
here you have a trader. Here you have a trader that was doing the top-down analysis, going to YouTube, had other educational courses in their life, was probably on a higher time frame. Correct me if I'm wrong in any of this. Always on a higher time frame. Could never probably think about getting down into the seconds and the minutes. And there's a
Yeah.
reason why. There's a reason why I preach this to the mentees and people that I've taught here in town and various parts of the world. The point is I said something very specific. It doesn't make any sense to be on the higher time frames, but here you find yourself, you're on a 15-second chart, and those candles and that movement is fast. That tells me that your progress when I met you and the thought process that you had is you're like thousands of percent beyond where you were at before. Your mental process. So we as a trader can continue to be hard on ourselves, but we must live outside of our comfort zone. If we don't step out of our comfort zone, we will not continue to learn. So each and every day we have to push ourselves. When we get comfortable, that's not a place to be. We have to
Yeah.
continue to grow. And the only way we can grow is to live outside of our comfort zone. Would you
True.
agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When I was trading, I remember when we were sometime last year and you were sharing your screen and you were on the seconds and stuff like that. I was like, that's crazy. I wouldn't go as low as the 5 minute. And then when we started the mentorship, I went from the 5 minute to a 1 minute, and then I was using the 1 minute, and then I was like, nah, this I need to get lower. Now I'm using the 15 seconds, and then I'm scalping in my session, and then because I have a 49-inch screen, so I like to see the 5 minute as a visual just to see how big the candles and all of that stuff is. And then I'm trading the seconds, and I'm like, wow, I just took all that scalp, and the 5 minute candle hasn't even closed, So it's like before you see something on the 5 minute, it's already presented itself on the seconds. So for me permanently now, I'm on the seconds. I don't change.
Well, I the open. That I love the open. I love volatility. I love to get in there with volatility. I love playing with the big dogs,
Yeah,
having the meat, and it one candle on a minute time frame. Just one candle on a minute time frame. 100 ticks, and 100 ticks can go within 30 seconds or 15 seconds. It can wick two contracts. So people don't understand. You'll blow a lot of accounts if you don't know what you're doing, correct?
yeah,
On that. But what does that also make you do? Because remember, you got to live outside your comfort zone. It makes you a better trader over time. You're going to continue to lose, but it's going to say, okay, when are you tired of losing? And when are you going to listen what works and doesn't work? Because once you can apply that, now you're not worried about, getting into the market with the higher volatility and a higher
yeah,
risk. Because
yeah,
remember, it's very simple. The higher the risk, the better the reward,
yeah,
right? But I have always explained to you is it's not about the money, it's about the skill. Because if you have the skill, you could take a $300,000 account, trade the same. But if
yeah.
you don't have the skill, it's gambling. Would you agree with that? Do you think a lot of traders are following gamblers? Do you think that traders gamble rather
Yeah,
than really have a plan?
yeah, I'll say from my personal experience, okay, when I do things and it works out, and obviously I'm doing it in the wrong ways. I know that I was lucky, and next time I do it, I might not get as lucky again. So, you could say that's gambling because sometimes you do things that you're not supposed to do and you get away with it. You might hit TP, blah, 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 and it might work out for you, but it's still gambling because, as I said, you could try it again and it's not going to work out. It will cause damage. So I feel like, like I'll speak for myself, but I was that type of trader where something worked out for me and I'll just, toss the dice and hope for the best. That was a gambling mentality.
And if the gambling mentality is at 100%, where do you think that you're at today, the mentality? Do you look forward when you open a chart? Let me ask you this. Are you able to sleep at night? Are you marking your charts up in the middle of the night? Have you done that before?
I'm dreaming about ups and down volatilities. I'm thinking about the EMA curling around my double bottoms. I'm thinking about triple tops. I'm thinking about it's crazy. Yeah, I'm always constantly thinking about these things, even when I sleep.
But in the past, were you marking your charts up at night?
Yes, absolutely. I was in the past. I would Sunday, Saturday. I'm already trying to predict what Monday, Tuesday to Friday is gonna do. I don't even do no market prep. The only time I'm doing market prep is like maybe 1 hour before the market open because I like to get a little snack just before it does open. That's the only time I'm gonna do market prep.
Compared to the past, because I've done the same thing. I'll
Yeah,
trade.
the
We
past.
we we're marking up, we're finding zones and we're figuring stuff out. But my past, I mean, I know a lot of different strategies in the market, but the only reason I know these strategies is because I've tested them, I've created them, I see them view the market. Um, and that comes with experience, yes. But I can take that experience and give it to you as a trader. Hey, listen, 1999 was my first trade. Everything that I learned, this is what works. So do this and practice this over and over and over again. It's like riding a bike or driving a car. It's that simple. Would you say it's that simple, mechanical, methodical way approach to the market?
Yeah, as you said, it's like driving. Like you could teach someone how to drive. You could play them, give them books how to drive. You could play them videos on how to drive. But until you get in that driver's seat and you start shifting the gears, you're not gonna get better until you start doing it consistently, you know.
So
I remember our first session when you were spilling the beans. I was just like, okay, okay. And like you were literally telling me how it is. And, it took some time for me to take that information and let it marinate with myself. I couldn't just, oh yeah, I got a mentorship with Rich. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. No, the information needed to marinate, and after a while, I don't know if you noticed, I kept my distance from Discord, just shut it down altogether, and I was just letting the information resonate with me. And as time went on, I was like, okay, okay, I'm starting to see what Rich is talking about here.
yeah. Good, good. And I think that it comes from all of the information because I remember some of the mentorship sessions that I've had with you. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. And this is not something negative.
Yeah.
It's reality. When we have all of this information and we see all of this YouTube stuff on these channels and we still have all of this information, all of that information is good. Everything that you've learned and did on YouTube, all of that is still who you are today as a trader. It's not useless. I mean, yeah, it's not useless. It is very useful. All of that information is useful. But when you start it's like having 1,000 pieces of a puzzle. The
Mhm.
puzzle's not complete until the final piece,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't know how to take all of these pieces and put them together, and then once you figure out what the puzzle actually looks like, then you continue to look at that puzzle each and every day. And when you look at that puzzle each and every day, when you open a chart, you know immediately. Would you say
Mhm.
that was true?
Mhm. To a certain extent, because I did learn a lot, and I won't be on. I'll be honest. Some of the information was useful, and I had some information in my brain that was not useful. And yes, it's good that I learned these things because it made me figure out what style of trading, what works and what I shouldn't do. It made me figure out what I wanted, but I still battle with it till today where I'm trading and some bad habits come in and some bad technical analysis, would you say? And I start doing some weird stuff, and then I have to snap myself back. I'm like, "What you doing? These like, you don't need all of this. Don't overthink it. You know what you're doing. Don't overthink it." And sometimes overthinking as well in trading could be your downfall. When you overthink and you overanalyze the chart.
You didn't take your profits in Apex. And actually, it's good to take profits. But what we went over is if you do take that profit, I know you know because I taught you this, you know what to look for to get back in. You don't just get back in on a pullback, but you know
Yeah.
exactly what to look for to get back in with the highest probability available. About the highest probability available. And these are the reasons why. If you lose with the highest probability available, that's okay. If you lose just because you want to push buttons, that's not okay because, like I said, if you get lucky on a trade, it could ruin you for life
Mhm.
because you may have the biggest trade of your life and be on the wrong side of the market. Not even you could have taken the trade in the opposite direction and been on the right side of the market. And there's a number of reasons why you got lucky on that trade. Actually, when the news comes out, price will rocket in the direction it intended to in the first place. Do you agree with that based on your chart experience now
Mhm.
after
Yeah.
those mentorships? It could
Yeah.
fake out. It could fake out, right? It'll
Mhm.
fake you out, but it's manipulation.
Mhm.
But it's
Mhm.
still intended to, but still price will go in the direction it intended to in the first place based on the market structure. And I don't want to say structure because it's not a change of structure and all that crap. Because I showed you time and time again that just because it breaks a low and creates a lower high doesn't mean it's going south, correct?
Yeah. Correct. It did that. It did that yesterday. Was it not? We had CPI yesterday. I was watching NQ, and the market, did it go up or down first? I think it came down. I can't remember. It spiked anyways, right? But on the spike, I think the intention was to go long, but on the spike, um, I already knew that, like, yeah, it made you want to chase it, and I could bet you anything, there's a lot of people that hit the buy button. And as soon as, it went up, it left a lot of traders hanging just to pull back, just to continue
That's
going in that direction,
manipulation.
continue going back in that direction, as you said. But it really left people hanging up high, is what I'm trying to say.
And you knew the direction, you knew the direction before the market opened. Yes or
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
How do you feel about
And
that?
Rich, interesting fact, that's the same trade that I actually lost my account on, where I waited for it did its impulsive move, it pulled back. And that pullback is where I went in. I went in with size and I walked away and I was just watching, waiting for my TP to get hit. A couple points away from my TP, $200 left to pass. Did a pullback, trailing drawdown. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, after our conversation today, we're going to have another session, but I'm going to show you some things in the evaluations that's going to help you and to get through this a little you'll get through quicker on those evaluations and get to your funded accounts, which to me, if you can get there a little quicker, you're probably going to spend less money over time because the evaluations you have to get what $3,000 depending on the account, right? I took
Right.
some $250,000 accounts the other day, and you have to make $15,000, and that's a big chunk of change to make, in a few minutes when you only have like $6,500 drawdown. That could go away real quick.
Yeah.
But there are some, I don't want to call them strategies. It's just being able to size up and to understand the market flow. And if you understand the market and where the market's going to go, then you size in and take a bigger risk,
Mhm.
which becomes a bigger reward, and then you can
Mhm.
move on to the next phase. Do you have any last words of wisdom for the traders out there, Reg? And I thank you for your time also.
Anytime, Rich. Yeah, so I did give my advice I said earlier on, don't take signals. And another thing is, education is key. Don't be scared to pay for education. I have friends where they do other stuff and we check up on each other and they say, yo, how's your trading? And when I tell them how it is and how much I've spent on it, they're more inspired and encouraging. They're like, oh wow, you really spent that much money to learn. Wow, okay. You're really influencing me to do the same. And my friends don't trade, but they do other stuff. But just letting them know that I do invest in my education and I see this as like going to university or going to college and just focusing on trying to get your master's degree. Same with trading. I'm focusing on trying to get my skill set degree. And yeah, so if you're a beginner trader, don't be afraid to put money aside and just spend money on education because at the end of the day, that comes first. That comes first before anything else.
If you had
Don't
to
take
look back, that's a good point. I believe in that also as investing in yourself. I'm a lifetime student, and I've told you that before. I'm a lifetime student. I don't know where I'm at in trading, but I know I can always grow each and every day as a person, as a trader, and I try to do my best. But if you had to look back, Reg, versus the education cost versus the amount of money losing, whether it be in the live market before you had an edge in the market, what does that look like? And it's up to you whether you want to say that or not.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like when I started trading, I spent so much money on blown accounts. Straight up, I spent a lot of money blown accounts. I also spent the money. The thing with beginner traders, it's very, very tricky. And if you're a beginner trader watching this, the mistakes I made when I started was I dived in the deep end way too quick. I got burnt out. And because I got burnt out, I became desperate. And then becoming desperate makes you just want to pay for anything without doing your proper research. And also, you just want to buy anything. You want to buy any indicator. You want to buy any mentorship. You want to pay for any strategy. You're looking for the Holy Grail. So, as a beginner trader, I would say, take your time. Don't dive into the deep end too quick. And if you're looking for mentorships, make sure you do your research. Make sure the person that you are going under the mentorship program is certified and make sure that you actually know what you're getting into first, because as I said for myself, I lost a lot of money on blown accounts, and because of that, I was desperate and I was paying for literally any kind of mentorship that came my way. So if I could start again, it's things I would I would really fix up on.
Well, thank you, Reg. I wish you well and uh, grow every day, 1% a day, and continue to hone in your skills, stay focused, and stay positive.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Reg. Thank you,
Peace.
sir.